was just taking a sec to send to YouTube. There it is. All right. And 3 and 2. Cue the music.
All right, another victory, Bendy, for the Dodgers for the Blue Review. Welcome to another edition of the Blue Review presented by LAX. I am Marcus Grant. He is Greg Bergman. I did the point right.
Nice finger point.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, the Dodgers get another win against the Marlins. Don't care if they maybe deserve to be contracted and relegated to what, AAA, AA? I don't know. It doesn't matter.
We could put them in AA.
Okay, sure. 7-4, the final score in that one. A game, Greg, it's a win. It was maybe closer than we would have hoped midway through that game, but they don't ask how, they ask how many. And the Dodgers had more than the Marlins, and that was the important part yesterday.
That was the important part of it, but it really wasn't that close until Yoendry Gomez? What is this dude? Like he's up here for a very, very, very short amount of time until he decides to give up another home run, and they'll probably be like, all right, it's time for you to go. He's a 7-1 guy. The guy that comes in at the end of the game is 7-1. You just need an inning. You're like, all right, fine. If you give up 3, it's no big deal, except that you have to force Tanner Scott to come out and close out a game. That's the bad part of all of that.
Yeah, that was sort of the negative part of all of that. We'll get into that and a whole lot more in just a bit. But first, I want to give a shout out to the folks at LAX. They are transforming the travel experience, saving guests time, just making everything a little bit better for you. The People Mover train will help with that effect as well once it gets open, hopefully early next year. If you want more information, you can go to flylax.com/transforminglax. A lot of stuff to get into from last night's ball game. As I mentioned, 7-4, the final score. The Dodgers get another win. They stay perfect against the Marlins this year. And let's start with the pitching because Ben Casterius gets the start. Couldn't quite get through 6 innings, but Greg, I would say he is one of the unsung heroes of the early part of the season while the team is dealing with pitching issues, trying to just find guys that can give them quality starts or at least open games in a quality fashion. And I think at this point, Ben Casterius has done a fantastic job of that.
I love Ben Casterius. I think I saw a stat that they put up on the screen at one point, and it said that Ben Casterius against the Cubs has like a 10.8586 ERA, and against everybody else it was like a 0.45, and that went down because he did give up a run, but yeah, so that's just a little bit. And by the way, Jack Dreyer started the game. He was the opener, went 1 1/3, and then Casterius went the rest of the way, went 4 strong. So Casterius, I love every single thing that Casterius is doing. I think he's a legit pitcher. The more and more they stretch him out, maybe they don't need that opener for him anymore. But I think he's doing a great job. It's just for the time being until guys like Glasnow and Snell are out. But he just is a gamer, man. Like he showed it in the playoffs last year, and he's showing it now too.
Yeah, one of the things they mentioned, I caught the early part of the game on radio, and they were talking about the fact that he has really adjusted to the fact that he likes coming out of the bullpen. He's aware that they may ask him to start, and they may ask them. They may ask him to give them some length during ball games, but he really has sort of adjusted to that reliever mindset and has done a fantastic job. You mentioned it, the 4 innings. Couldn't quite get through that 6th inning. They had to go get him or whatever just because he'd given up a run. The Marlins were starting to look comfortable at the plate against them. So Dave Roberts went on and made the move, brought in Alex Vesia, who got out of trouble there. And, the Dodgers ended up going on to a 7-1 lead before, as you mentioned, Gomez comes in. Yoendry Gomez gives up the 3-run home run and made it a little bit tighter than wanted to be. I would say this on the Dave Roberts trust tree, Gomez might be sitting at the bottom of the tree, right?
He's probably towards the bottom. He's just he's that guy that's the 7-1 guy. Like it's 7-1, come in and do the best you can. Just don't blow it. Just don't give up the lead. And he tried to, but what they did get. But going back to Casterius for just a second, he was really good through those first 3 innings, and in that 4th inning, or actually he was good through the first 4 innings, and then he tried to go out for the 5th inning, and that 5th inning he just couldn't he stopped using his pitch mix.
Yeah.
He stopped using the cutter more so, and just went to secondary pitches. It was very strange because they weren't doing anything against the cutter. So I feel like he would just felt like he didn't have it completely. He lost control of it a little bit. So that's the only thing that happened. He did walk a couple guys to the point where it was funny at the very beginning of the game when he first came in that second inning. Eric Karros goes, "What I'm really impressed about with Ben Kasperius is that he doesn't walk guys. He only has 3 walks on the season. That's what I'm most impressed about Kasperius." Yeah. And then walked the second guy he saw. So, Eric Karros was doing just little things for the entire game. They were just like, "What are you talking about?" They got into a conversation because Hyeseong Kim, which I'm sure we'll get to, got his first hit, and somebody on the Marlins saw him at second base and said congratulations. And Eric Karros goes, "How did he say congratulations to him? Does he know Korean?" And they got into this whole thing of like, no, did you hear this? It was like, did he say congratulations? And what's his name? Steven Nelson goes, no. He just said congratulations. He doesn't know Korean. Like, he's like, "Am I going insane?"
I'm sure Kim, I'm sure speaks at least a little bit of English, and also I'm sure he kind of just figured out the sentiment of it, right? I mean, you just got your first
pat on the back.
Hit, pat on the back. Hey, congratulations, man! Welcome to the major leagues, sort of thing.
God, it was so funny. It was so funny.
Yeah. Which I guess is a good transition to Hyeseong Kim, who got his first start. We had seen him previously come in as a replacement late in ball games. He pinch ran a couple nights ago. We saw his speed on display, but got a chance to be the starter. Played at second base and ended up with 2 hits, 2 for 4, his first major league hits and his first major league RBI. So, look, I know it's only one game, and it was a game against the Marlins, who have, I think, the worst ERA in all of Major League Baseball. But Greg, I would say it's a pretty successful starting debut for Hyeseong Kim.
It was a great starting debut for him. He got his first hit, he got his first run, he got his first RBI. His teammates loved him. His first at bat, I thought, hit a home run off Sandy Alcantara. Yeah. I don't know how to say it.
Whatever. Sandy,
sure. Yeah. Sandy, off the Sandy. It was very close. Almost hit his first home run. Like, he was doing a bunch of firsts, and he also stole a base. Like, the dude has speed for days. I thought he looked great, and I don't know if he sticks around, Marcus. Like, maybe you think he does. Like, I hope he stays up for quite some time, especially with guys like Conforto struggling. I don't care that he got a hit. Conforto's struggling. Taylor's struggling. I mean, Muncy's still struggling. Edmonds on the IL. I hope he stays around, but I really do feel like he's going to go back down once Edmonds off the IL.
Probably. I would think. So here's the part of that, though. Teoscar Hernandez did leave the ball game yesterday with hamstring tightness. They're expecting an MRI today, so we'll get further information. I don't know that the plan was for Hyeseong Kim to stick around, but circumstances could kind of force him to stay on this team a little bit longer. If Teo, and fingers crossed that it's nothing serious, but if Teo is forced to miss a little bit of time, even if it's just a short stint on the IL, when Edmund comes back, that puts him in the outfield, which means, I'm sure, Miguel Rojas will get his starts at second base, but it does mean that there's still some space for Hyeseong Kim to be here. So, I think I'm hoping that everything's okay with Teo or what have you, but it could be, Greg, that circumstances mean that Kim is here a little bit longer, which, look, I think we've all been waiting for an extended look at Hyeseong Kim. We'd like it under better circumstances potentially, but there's an opportunity. I think there's an opportunity for him to
I mean, hopefully Teo's good, though. Like, that was scary. Yes. All of a sudden, you're watching the game, and then he's just not in the game anymore. And they weren't saying anything. Scrolling Twitter, being like, "What the hell's wrong with him? What the hell's wrong with him?" And they say tightened hamstring. That seems like a thing that could very well be just like Edmund. Okay, let's be precautionary. Let's just put him on the IL. We'll get through this because we have the depth, and keep Kim up here a little bit longer. That very well could be a thing. I hope not, because Teo has been so good,
Fantastic.
just so good this year. Again, it's the same thing. It's just he's so consistent and so consistently good. Gets big hits in big moments, hits a big home run, gets a big single to score a run. Just every time he's at the plate, you expect something good to happen. So I really hope the hamstring is just precautionary that he was out and he doesn't have to go on the IL. But if he does have to go on the IL, hopefully it's a short stint and it's just for precautionary reasons.
Yeah, and look, I would say this: if it has to happen, it's a good part of the schedule for it to happen with. Right? They've got the Marlins for a couple more. They go to Arizona for the D-backs, which that's always a pesky series because that team can just give you trouble. But then they've got the A's and they've got the Angels. With a day off thrown in there in between too. So it is at least a softer part of the schedule where if he has to miss some time, then you're not hopefully missing a whole lot there. I know you said you don't want to talk about it, but let's give Michael Conforto a little bit of love.
Really? Is this what we're doing?
Hey, look, we have been hammering
him.
You
do it. Go ahead.
That's fine. I'll give him some love. We have been hammering him on this show for good reason, right? He was in a stretch of 0 for 31.
Yeah,
I think it was before he finally got a base hit, and I think everybody was just relieved to see it happen. Certainly, he was when he got to first base. Big smile, looks up to the sky. And yes, he only had the one hit. But I will say this. His next at bat, he lined out. And Greg, that was the most solid contact I've seen from Conforto in a month. So I'm not ready to say that Michael Conforto is fixed. We're a long way from that. But, man, maybe it's just something to hold on to that maybe, he's starting to see the ball better. Maybe he's starting to make some more solid contact, and maybe things will kind of turn the other way for him.
So, I mean, look, honestly, if I want him to do well, I understand he's a villain. I understand that I never liked the signing. I understand all of that. Him being good is good for the Dodgers. So hopefully this is something that actually does get him going. I agree. That was the most solid contact he's given. He has struck out looking multiple times. Recently, he struck out swinging a few times. He has popped up. He has grounded out. He's done everything that he possibly could do to get out. And so to get just a little base hit, hopefully that's something like, hey, this is what it looks like when you get a solid base hit, and that can start helping out a swing a little bit. It's good for the Dodgers if Michael Conforto was good. So I'm not going to sit here and be upset that he got a hit. I just don't think he's like, Conforto's back. It's time for the Conforto train to start rolling. I don't think we're at that space yet.
No, I'm definitely not there yet. But it was nice to see something positive happen in one of his at-bats. Even a couple of his, like I said, the line out, it's an out, but it was a loud out. It was solid contact, and that's a thing that he really has been missing for the last month during this extended slide that he's been on. So, baby steps. That's what.
Yeah. Yep. Baby steps. Fine. Okay. So there's your first hit. Now get another hit the next time.
Yeah. We'll see what happens because chances are he's going to be in the lineup again today. I mean, it's just.
He should be. He should be in the lineup. He should be in the lineup every single game against the Marlins to try and get right. We said it yesterday, with FRG. He needs to be out there to start to get to see bat on ball, to get hits. Yeah. This is a team. These are where you get fat. These are the types of guys you get fat on. And so this is a perfect time for him to start doing that.
Yeah.
That was his first hit against the Marlins in 4 games.
Yeah, I mean, which, considering the amount of offense they put up against the Marlins at Dodger Stadium, you would have thought. Here's that is when I still played fantasy baseball before I had to kind of retire from it. I always would have the guy where you look and his team scored 15 runs. He must have. No, I had the one guy who was 0 for 5. That's what Michael Conforto has been. For this offense, but again, small positives. I feel like we've been hammering him. He did something good. Let's give him a little bit of love for what he did well. Absolutely. I'm trying to think where we go with the rest of this because the offense continues to click. The top of the order is still hitting. Shohei stays hot. Another home run for him yesterday. Freddie Freeman. I don't think we've talked a lot about Freddie Freeman this season because he's doing Freddie Freeman things, and we're sort of like ho-hum. He's hitting 337. He's on an extended hitting streak. He's hitting with power. I mean, I don't know what else to say about it other than he's good at baseball, but I think it's just time to, give Freddie a little bit of props because I feel like we've talked around him this year.
Yeah, which is sad that we're talking around him. So when I was on with Jeff Spiegel last week on Dodger Heads, he brought up an article that someone did. His name was like Joel Reuter. I don't know if you know who Joel Reuter is. Yeah, neither do I. He's an idiot. But he's put together his top 10 first basemen for the 2025 season as of right now. Mm-hmm. Freddie Freeman was not in the top 25 or top 10. I mean,
really?
Yeah, how do you not have this guy in your top 10? He's been nothing but consistent. He also was, the World Series MVP just last season and hit the biggest home run in the history of home runs and comes into here this year and he's just putting up a 337 average, 414 on base percentage, 663 slug. He's over 1,000 on OPS. He has 7 home runs, 23 RBIs, and 7 doubles. He's just been nothing but amazing this year. Like he's just consistently been Freddie Freeman, and he's great defensively. I understand that and he's doing it all, by the way, with a bum ankle still. So, you got to give the guy some love. He missed some time with the ankle, and he's still putting up these types of numbers. Freddie Freeman needs as much love as possible at all times.
Yeah, no, I mean, you mentioned the bum ankle. When he did come back, it was a little bit of a slow start as he was kind of working himself back into shape, but 10-game hitting streak for him during that stretch, hitting 447, 3 homers, 12 runs, batted in, a couple or 3 doubles, 9 runs scored. He's back to looking like Freddie Freeman again. Because You remember this time last year, he was hitting like 270, 280. And we were like, what's wrong with Freddie? I mean, like for most guys, like that's fine. For Freddie Freeman, we're like, what's wrong with Freddie Freeman? Nothing's wrong with him right now. So I don't know how that seems like clickbait. That we're not putting Freddie Freeman in the top 10.
Yeah, it kind of. Let me see if I can actually get what they were, because someone in the chat asked what the top 10 were. So it was right here. It's right here, but it's getting. Why is that happening? First baseman Pete Alonso, Tyler Soderstrom, Spencer Torkelson. This is in order 1, 2, 3. Spencer Torkelson from Detroit, who's a good hitter. Jonathan Aranda from Tampa Bay. Michael Busch in Chicago. Paul Goldschmidt in New York. Josh Naylor in Arizona. It looks like it's Bryce Harper in Philly at 8, Matt Olson in Atlanta at 9, and Vlad Guerrero Jr. in Toronto at 10. No Freddie Freeman. I would absolutely put Freddie Freeman over. I love you, Michael Busch. I love that you were a Dodger. You hit the Dodgers really well. Freddie Freeman is the better first baseman.
Yeah. Maybe Joel Reuter was only watching the Michael Busch games against the Dodgers. Right. And that's why. Yeah, I don't really understand that at all. That's right up there with Roki Sasaki being the most disappointing player so far in Major League Baseball.
That was such a ridiculous thing too. People make such it really comes across as just you don't like the Dodgers. They don't look at what the actual player is. They hate what the Dodgers did. They hate that they brought in all these guys and spent so much money. So because of that, they feel that no, we can't give them any love because they're just on a super team.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's some of it too. I think the expectation was that by now in early May, the Dodgers would have like a 15-game lead in the NL West or something like that. And now that because they don't, something's wrong with them and whatever. So, I don't know. Question from the chat, Roy Estrada asking if Teo goes on IL and the front office brings up a prospect going for a trade. Who do the Dodgers call up, basically, if Teo has to go on the IL? Do we see Dalton Rushing?
It could be Dalton Rushing. So from what I understand about Dalton Rushing is that they want him to be the catcher. They want him to. They're not putting him in the outfield anymore. They are not. That experiment seems to be over. They're not going to use first base. They're not going to do any of that. I think they feel that he is a catcher now, and he's going to stay in the catcher position. So does Dalton Rushing come up only if Austin Barnes gets injured? I think possibly, and even then, Hunter Fiducia is probably the guy that they call up first before Dalton Rushing. I would love to see Dalton Rushing come up at some point. I just don't know where that space is, and he's going to get more at bats down in AAA. My guess would be somebody more along the lines of Alex Freeland at third base, and let Max Muncy have a day off here or there, and have him just get a couple of bats and play at third base. Then you could possibly see an infield of Freddie, Kim, Mookie, and Freeland in the infield. That's your kind of a little bit of your future infield too. So I would love to see a guy like Freeland come up so they can get a look at him in the majors.
Yeah. I wonder if they would do that, or would they kind of do a 1-for-1 and bring up an outfielder, which I'm looking like, I don't know if they bring up Outman. I don't know if they bring up Ruiz.
Outman's been hitting better recently. He's like I saw it last week. I don't know what he's done over the last few days, but he was batting like 415 with a couple of home runs over the last week. I saw the number last week, so it may have changed since then.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like first and foremost, let's just hope that Teo doesn't have to go on the IL.
Yes.
That maybe it's just, he just needs to sit for a day or two, and then everything's going to be fine. But yeah, obviously there are decisions that need to be made if that's what's going to happen. Looking ahead to tonight, Game 2 of the series against the Marlins. Tony Gonsolin making his second start back in the big leagues, going against Cal Quantrill, and Gonsolin was amazing his first time around, and Greg, he gets another soft landing spot here, so I would hope for kind of more of the same from the Catman today.
Yeah, this is a perfect game for him to get his second start in. Just go and face a team that you can kind of dominate. You can really go after the strike zone, try and be aggressive in that strike zone. And just because they swing at basically everything, and they swing early too, so you can keep your pitch count down. This seems like a great soft landing spot. He just has to execute his pitches. I thought he was really good. Not great, but I thought he was good in his first start, and hopefully he can just kind of build on that, because this is a good spot for him to build on that. And then you have another guy in Dustin May, Tony Gonsolin, that can help ease the whole transition by not having Glasnow and Snell.
Update on James Outman. His last game, he took the golden sombrero 0-for-4 with 4 strikeouts.
So again, I didn't see what he did over the last few days. I just saw what he did last week, and I see from the post from OKC, and they said, "Oh, he's batting 415 with 2 home runs." So I don't watch the games.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? I mentioned this to Parker, I think last week. We're getting to the point of the year where maybe we reach out to our old pal Bruce Kuntz, talk some minor league stuff, talk some prospects, kind of get an update on that sort of thing. But we'll figure that out. I mentioned Gonsolin, his last time out a week ago at Dodger Stadium against these same Marlins, went six innings, 3 earned runs on 6 hits, no walks, 9 strikeouts. He gave up a couple of home runs in that one. So a couple of bad pitches, but for the most part looked very good, especially for a guy who was coming off a very long layoff. So, a lot to take away, be positive there. Anything else? Anything you're looking forward to watching tonight with this ball club?
So I think I just want them to continue to do well. I would love to see Max Muncy kind of just figure himself out. He did not get any hits last night. He's hitting the ball hard. Like, he's actually getting bat on ball. It's just not, he did strike out a couple times, but the first strikeout, I don't really blame him. Sandy Alcantara put a ball that was just a fastball. It looked like a 2-seamer, just popped right into the top corner. There was nothing he could do about it. So that was a really tough pitch, but he's wearing the glasses now. Did you notice the glasses?
Yeah. So, he went to the same eye doctor that Kike went to last year.
Right. I was looking at him last night, and I maybe I just didn't notice it. Did you see it over the weekend? Because I was looking at it. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I think it was over the weekend, but I did remember seeing, maybe it was Sunday, but I remember seeing them over the weekend. So, so far it hasn't had the immediate impact that it did when Kike started wearing glasses last year. But as you mentioned, he's hitting the ball hard, and you keep making solid contact like that. Eventually, it's going to even out. So I'm with you. Just, we just want to see him get going. He finally got his first home run last week. So let's just progress from there.
Yeah, that's just what I want to see. I want that BABIP. That's one of the batting average balls in play. That's what I would like to see go. If he gets bet on ball, I want to see it drop. That's kind of what I want to see for him. And just, give him that confidence that we're talking about with Conforto. I want to see that confidence in Max. And if not, I mean, eventually he's going to have some IL stints that are the phantom IL stints. And we see Alex Freeland.
Right.
I think there's just a couple guys on this roster that against the Marlins get going. I want to see him get going,
Absolutely. So we're back here tomorrow to talk about whatever goes on today down there in Miami. 3:40 start time. The first pitch from South Florida. Tony Gonsolin going against Cal Quantrill. So we will have that for you tomorrow. In the meantime, stick around. Travis and DeMarco coming up. Stay with us here on the ESPN LA YouTube channel. Meantime, that'll do it for this edition of the Blue Review presented by LAX. Thanks to all of you in the chat for hanging out. Thanks to Parker, who claims to be sick. I actually think he's starting at third base for the Marlins today under the name Graham Pauley. So, it could be what it is. But in the meantime, we're back with you tomorrow. For Greg, I am Marcus. Enjoy the day, everybody. Think Blue. We'll talk to you tomorrow here on the Blue Review.
See you.
There he is.
Got to get in there. You got to get in there. You went both screens too. Look at that.